all putting in the work away from here, but nothing beats being back in the group. So I think that's the first step. Just kind of everyone getting the shit out of their legs, I guess, and just trying to find their fitness and find their feet and build new connections. And obviously we've had 2 friendly games and a lot of training to learn from. And yeah, I think it's been a positive first phase in terms of preseason, and we just got to keep the ball rolling.
What's the big difference between kind of the first phase out of Florida now, getting here with building chemistry with the guys and all of that?
Yeah, I think obviously Florida's a very it's a very unique place, nice and warm. The weather's pretty consistent. So here, definitely a bit of a challenge coming back to the cold, but something that we got to learn to adapt. So I think that's a good take, I guess. Coming from warm weather to cold weather, it happens a lot in this country and in this league. So it's been good to just really overcome those little things, and even something like driving here is sometimes a challenge. So it's been good. Everyone's kind of adapted to that, and I guess we're kind of having to rely on each other a little bit more, which is great for the group.
Patrick, this is obviously VJ's second preseason with the team. Kind of what are some differences that you've noticed between last preseason and this, and maybe what areas do you think you guys are really progressing in?
Yeah, I think the identity in the team is actually far stronger than what it was last year. Obviously BJ had a short time to work with us before he kind of came into his preseason, so I guess he didn't really have the same messages then as he did in the preseason last year. And obviously it's a very similar concept, but with a bit more, I think, intensity in the approach. And I even said to the coaches, I feel like obviously comparing last preseason, which was my first with the club, and having this year, I can tell the quality has gone up. The intensity was always there, but I think the quality in terms of the players we've recruited, just the elite kind of mentality is really, really at the forefront of what we're trying to do. So I think that's a big difference from last year this year.
How does that translate over to your partnership with Eddie after having a whole season playing with him, comparing to a year ago when you're getting to know each other? How organic is that chemistry now?
Yeah, Eddie and I are good mates. We get on off the field, which is I think the first step. And I think even like Maddie in there, we're all good friends, Brian. So obviously it was very fun playing with Eddie last year, and kind of built a connection that is I think pretty unique in terms of football. You don't get to see many things like that, and especially in this industry, sometimes you have a high turnaround too. So I'm excited to share the field with him and all the other boys, and we just continue growing that chemistry, and hopefully we can be strong again this year.
Patrick, has your approach changed any this preseason from the previous one?
Yeah, I think obviously coming into preseason last year, I really wanted to make a statement in terms of my physical qualities. I wanted to be really fit and show the coaches what qualities I have in terms of my athleticism, but I think this year is also about balancing that with my technique and showing them what I can do on the ball as well. I do want to be involved in a lot more goals and assists this year. I know I had a few secondary assists trying to help Andy out, but I do want to get a bit more numbers on my name, and that comes with trying to be a bit more direct and playing a few more balls forward and just work on things like that. So that's kind of something that I'm taking into consideration this preseason. But at the end of the day, still trying to prioritise what the coaches are asking of us.
Patrick, the club had a number of departures in the offseason. I know, especially some veterans, Teal Bunbury, especially Walker Zimmerman, and Walker being such a leader for this club for the last 6 or so years. I guess how are you guys kind of replacing his voice and his leadership?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's things you prepare for. Obviously, it's unfortunate that we don't share the locker room with those personalities as well. Like Teal was a great person for the locker room. Tyler, Walker, all the boys that departed, even Taylor Washington. So I think on a personality standpoint, it's always sad to see them go. But I think it's the industry we're in. Players come and go often, and it's about being the next person to step up. And I think what that means for myself is an opportunity to become more of a leader in this team. Obviously, I'm still young and still learning, so it's about drawing off what someone like Walker did leave and teach us, and trying to carry that over in my own kind of my own flavour, really. So yeah, it's obviously an opportunity for us to step up and really show our own leadership personalities, and an area to grow for sure. All good.
Is it too early to say how strong this team is going to be in the midfield with the guys coming in?
Yeah, look, we're very confident in our own ability, and I think at the moment we are not where we want to be because obviously it's pre-season. But I think the idea in this club and on the field, it's we're purely focused on ourselves. We obviously go out and we're going to have pre-season games, and results will be results. But at the end of the day, we're focused on our process and where we want to be. And I'm sure come round one, we will be in a very good place as a team.